Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I believe this will be episode 11. So we left off, we did some, I believe it was some cargo missions with the Cobra, and earned a fair amount of credits there, and realized that the AspX Explorer was cheaper than I thought it was. I was thinking it was up in 30 million somewhere, but it's a tenth of that. It's only 3 million and change. So we'll get started with that. Oh, there we go. Jump into open play here. So before we get started, anybody who's following on Twitch, I appreciate the followers, and if you'd click the follower button so you get notified when I go online, that would be awesome. If you're following on YouTube, because I also upload all of my videos to YouTube, if you're following there, then hit the like and share it if you would, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notified for future content. So let's go into Starport Services here and get the ball rolling, so to speak. Alright, so the reason I was thinking about so there's other options, but the AspX Explorer, I think, oh, it's 6.6 million. I'm sorry. But one thing we can do, let's see, we'll drag this over. There we go. So I've got, let's see, I think this is it. So, ship price, AspX Explorer, 6.6. I don't remember if it shows a discount. Well, let's have a look. Let's see what Steam's got to say. Lambava and Diaguandria, 15% discount on ships and equipment. Granted, that was 2015. I'm not sure if that's still the case. This is a little bit old information. And that's another thing about Elite Dangerous, is it does take a little bit of research if you want to do things efficiently. Let's see. $2016. Let's do 2018. Aha. Elite Dangerous Wiki. Let's see. All right. So there we've got various systems with discounts. Alioth. So let's take a look and see. Let's see if E.D.H has ships. Nope. So we'll just back up. I don't think, well, Anara might. It's shipyard. Where's the AspX Explorer? There it is. Let's search shipyards. I don't see any cost indicators here though, so we may just have to go with this. So let's take a look and see if we can find which one's closest to us. Let's start with LHS 20. Actually, let's start with Alioth first. Go over to our galaxy map. Click on the second tab and you can search. .3 light years. Alright, let's check. And the primary reason, not only to have the initial cost be cheaper for looking for discount costs, is that your insurance / rebuy costs will be cheaper as well, because that's based off of whatever you pay for various items. And there is a system, but that has discounts on just about everything, and it has almost everything. But you have to have a elite in at least one of the areas, whether it's combat, exploration, or trade. So let's see, another one is, let's check the LHS 20 now. So that one's 114 from us. This one is 94. That's supposedly a 15% discount though, instead of a 20. And even 100 light year isn't too bad, because with our Cobra that's got the scoop, or the Dolphin that's got the scoop, whichever we choose to do, probably go whichever one was cheaper, which means the Cobra. And the reason for that is that once we go out and buy it, what I'll probably end up doing is flying the Asp Explorer and sending, and once I get back to station, I'll call for the Cobra and then have that shipped back to me. And if it's a cheaper cost ship, then it'll be cheaper to send back. So, all right, let's check Kwama. Ooh, that one's a ways away. 122. And let's see, hip 6978. That one's a long ways away also. Ooh, that's even further. Alright, so let's just let's give it a try. What do we got to lose? You know, a little bit of time. So let's go to Alioth and see if we can't get that 20% discount. But let's see. So it will usually tell you in the description if it's a controlled system that you have to have a permit in order to get into, and I don't see one here. So let's jump into the system, and let's see, Etchintown, Donaldson, Gotham Park, Golden Gate, Irkutsk, I believe that's the one we're looking for. Let's double check just to make sure. There we go. Granted, that was seen in 2016, so we'll have to see. Ah, see, we do. It does require an Alioth system permit. Right there. Okay. Well, that's a bummer. Let's go back, and we don't want to do that just yet. Actually, let's see what it takes to do that. Let's see, for build turn last engineer, of course takes allied status to unlock, so I've been trying to find missions to do so. So we'd have to increase our reputation with let's see. Controlling faction, Alioth independence. So we'd have to increase our reputation with them to friendly in order to, I believe, in order to get the permit. So you do that with by working the surrounding systems. For example, let's see, this one's really close. 78 Ursa Majoris. So if we go in here, Alioth Independence, so that dock you'd be able to go to and pick up missions and increase your reputation with Alioth Independence, and then that would get you a permit for the actual Alioth system. So, and you can see most of these are Alioth, with the exception of those two and Seddon. Oh, and there's a couple down here that are a couple of others. So, we're not going to do that right now. So, let's pull that back up. And I believe LHS 20 was close. We'll try LHS 20 and Kwama. Whichever one's closer is where we'll go. '94. Oh. Help if my dyslexia wasn't kicking in. Whoa. Apparently I didn't have that text box selected. Let's see, that one is 122. Alright, LHS 20 it is. Let's check it out. Alright, so we're going to plot a route for there. Let's take a look and see. Whoop. We're looking for Ohm City, and it was in July 18th. So hopefully, Ohm City, there we go. Plot the route. Oh, and one thing when you're plotting long distance routes, if we back out of this, scan back a little bit, see how this line, let's see if I can't clean that up a little bit. Okay, so, see how this line is solid? If it's dotted, that means that you have to, so as soon as it'll be solid for a little bit, and then it'll be dotted or dashed or however you want to call it. But that means that you will not have fuel unless you are scooping or you stop for it after that point. And it'll usually queue in a fuel star, things like that. So this will kind of look for you, and you can even plot your route to, let's see where that's, you have to bear with me a little bit. There we go. So if we go to, here we go. Maybe not. Oh, here we go. Let's see. So you could change by star class. So you select an option below. So the option to change these, this will essentially take them out of your route plotting, and the euphemism that I always remember is always be fueling or get myself killed. So anything that doesn't start with one of those letters is a non-fuel scoopable star. So you've got White Dwarf, so on and so forth. So always be fueling or. So O is scoopable, B is scoopable, A is scoopable, F is scoopable, G is scoopable, K is scoopable, M is scoopable, L, T, Y, Proto, and all these others are non-scoopable, I believe. So, So if you wanted to, you could deselect those, and then when you plot your routes, you won't have to worry about going to a non-scoopable star. However, this may increase your trip distance, because you may have to go around or kind of jump out of the way, and I don't see much sense in completely avoiding them, because if you've got enough fuel in your tank, you can actually go and you can go through a system that has a non-scoopable star, and then the next one may have a scoopable star, so you'll just make up what you lost there, or so on and so forth. So basically, if you want to check your route just to make sure that you can get from A to B, or if you can't, you want to make sure that you have scoopable stars in the route. It kind of all depends on user preference. It's pretty much up to whatever is most easiest for you. And then the other element is, let's see, here with our route, you can use economical or fastest. I almost always use the fastest routes. Economical will be your fuel will last longer, but it may take you twice as long to get there. So that's why I usually go with the fastest routes, because then I get from A to B, and as long as I'm careful and keep an eye on what kind of stars I have and what the indicator says as far as getting from A to B, then I don't have to worry about running out of fuel and having to call the fuel rats. So in the event you do run out of fuel, what you want to do is take note of where you are and then log out. The reason for that is because you will still use power, and you'll use emergency oxygen, things like that. And then if you get a hold of the fuel rats, from what I've heard, I've never had to use them myself, but from what I've heard, they'll send somebody out for fuel, and I'm not sure if they have you get back online so that they can give you the fuel, or kind of how that works. But yeah, so just a little FYI there, so for future use, if you run into that bind, you know how to handle it. And you should be able to Google Elite Dangerous Fuel Rats contact. So, with that being said, we've got our route plotted. We're running the fastest routes. I'm not entirely worried about most of the settings, because it looks like we'll be able to get there just fine. So let's back out of there, and let's see. It's going to be 5 jumps. That is not bad at all. And the reason for that is because we have, if we go down to functions, our jump range is 23.5 in our current configuration. So 5 jumps to check on a potential 15% discount, I don't think that's too bad. And we can use our discovery scanner on the way as well. So let's go back in here, let's go to shipyard. And what I'm going to do, because the Cobra doesn't have, oop, okay, let's go to outfitting first. The Cobra, I'm pretty sure, does not have, so it's got a basic discovery scanner. So sorry, I got a little phlegm in my throat here. But what we can do is go to our shipyard. We have our Dolphin stored here, so we can go to storage options and use it. And I'll show you here in a minute. Okay, so the rebuy cost for this one, as a reference, is $464,000. So just keep that in mind. So 464. So we're going to go into Starport Services, jump over to Outfitting. We're going to go to the Optional Internal, and this one has an Advanced Discovery Scanner on it. So if we put that Discovery Scanner into storage, there's 0 cost for it. And then we go back over to our shipyard and jump into our Cobra. Da-da-da. Come on, load it. Then we go to Starport Services and back to outfitting. Let it get back into the hangar here quick. And then we can take that piece. You can only fly one ship at a time. So this, it may not be common sense, but yeah, you should be able to figure that out. So transfer options. So if we go into, so swap is pretty self-explanatory. It's swapping between slots. So like if we wanted to swap these two, that would be the swap option. Transfer transfers it from something from storage into that slot and vice versa. And then store is just take that piece of equipment and store it. So we're going to go transfer and put our advanced discovery scanner on there, which is a 1C versus this one is a 1E basic. So we're going to go to transfer, advanced discovery scanner, transfer to ship. And there's 0 cost for it. So then we don't have to buy another 1.5 million credit. Actually, it's probably more than that. I'm just looking at the sale cost that we would get back from it. So now we have an advanced discovery scanner on our Cobra. And if we look down here, you can tell that with the hard points deployed, we're still not over our max. So we don't have to worry about running into power issues, which at a later date I'll get to that. So, however, since we have changed our configuration, what is a good idea, we're going to exit here. And we're going to go to the galaxy map. And we're going to point at LHS 20. And we're going to clear the route and replot it. And we are ready to go. Oh, and I didn't check that. So the rebuy for this one is 209,291. Remember, the other one was 464,000. So the Cobra is the cheaper ship, and that means when we have to ship it back, we oh shoot, that's a big ship. When we ship it back, we won't have to pay as much. Another alternative that some people use is they'll buy a Sidewinder and they'll maybe do some upgrades to the jump distance, and what they'll do is they'll fly a Sidewinder over
next time, Commander.
And then they'll buy the new ship, configure it how they want to, and then they'll come back with that ship, and then they'll just sell the other one. Alright, sorry about that, folks. Let me
Frameshift drive charging.
Let me check something, make sure that we're still good. Alright. Let's point at the next one and let's get jumping.
Drive charging.
Oh, we forgot to do our scan here because I was interrupted.
4, 3, 2.
Anyway, so where I was, sorry. But so people will buy a Sidewinder, fly out, buy the new ship, and then just sell the Sidewinder, because Sidewinders are really cheap. So And if I was to do that, I would end up just wait for it to cool off. There we go.
Frameshift drive charging.
If I was to do that, I'd want to upgrade a little bit because I don't have a lot of tolerance for a lot of jumps in various distances. So
4, 3, 2,
and this way, I don't have to worry about getting destroyed while in transit with the Sidewinder, because this one does have weapons on it.
fuel scooping. Frameshift drive charging.
Alrighty. But if you do the math, 15% on 6 million is pretty substantial. See, there's a non-skippable star.
Frameshift drive charging.
So just something to keep in mind that is it cheaper? Yes. Is it riskier? A little bit. Because if you get shot down in a Sidewinder, you're not out a lot of money, but at the same time, you also have to do it again. So I'd rather be able to defend myself and get there and then just pay the little bit extra to ship it back. Oh, we didn't select the actual station when we remapped our... Let's see, Ohm City is the one we're looking for. Let's see if we can't find that, but it's way on the back. There it is, so we'll flip it. So it's on the bottom there. Alright. And we don't have any cargo, so it's usually much less risky when you don't have any cargo. You don't have to worry about NPCs messing with you. And I haven't run into a lot of other players in this game because the universe is so expansive. So unless you're in one of the major populated areas, you usually don't run into too many actual players. So what we'll do is we'll check here, and if it doesn't have it at a 15% discount, then we'll just go back to Kokujina and we'll just pick it up at full price. Because I don't want to spend too much time jumping around. That's nice planet. I wonder if that's got high metal content rings. Food for thought. And the significance of that I will show you soon, because once I get the AspX Explorer, what I want to do is I want to set it up for some mining just so I can get some of that. It's good for getting materials and things like that, and ores and so on and so forth. And it's really relaxing. I kind of enjoy it. But at the same time, that way I can show you like the config and You can see how the limpets work, how to use the various sites to get it configured and set up, and do the research, so you know how you want to set it up before you go throwing money at it. Tap the brakes while this guy goes in. Gotta keep your eyes open. We're looking for 16 on the left. And we're gonna do a little bit of an interesting landing here.
Gear deployed.
Oh, a little too low. Oh well. And we have landed.
Touchdown. Ship secured.
Let's refuel and check out the shipyard. Oh. Ah, how about that? 1,000,000 credits off. 6.6 versus 5.6. It's 1,000,000 credits that we just saved. So alternatively, let me jump back here to the Sidewinder. So that's 27.2, 27. We'll call it 27,000 credits. So once we get back to Kokajina, we'll look and see what the cost of this, of the shipping is, and I'm sure it'll be. It might be more. It depends on distance and ship actual ship value. So, oh wait, we don't want to do that with the Sidewinder. We want Asp Explorer. So let's see. Purchase options. We're going to store our current ship. So that's free, but then we pay the 5.6 million credits. So the rebuy for this ship is 283,000, and that's as is. Keep in mind we haven't put a bunch of equipment on this thing yet. So let's see what Ohm City has. But first, we're going to set this up for some mining. So let's pull this up, and let's see, we'll go back. I'm lazy. I'll just use the back arrow. Let's see, we're looking for shipyard. Coriolis, I believe I've been in here before, so let's do ships. Asp Explorer. So what I want to have is I want to have something that is has a decent jump range to it, as well as having good cargo capacity, and I mean, it's not going to be huge cargo capacity. I mean, it's not like this is an Anaconda or a Cutter or anything like that. But you're going to have, I want to have decent cargo capacity, as well as decent processing as far as refinery and a number of limpets, so that we can do it at a fairly decent rate. So let's see, here we've got all these pulse lasers. We're going to remove those, and I'm just right clicking on them and it pops them off of there. Shield generator we'll see. So with the medium hard points, we're going to have, let's see, I believe that's gimbaled. Let's see, what's the price range here? Not sure. Let's see, DPS is 4. Piercing is 18. Piercing is 18. DPS is 4. So I think I usually go with these fixed. I want to say this is fixed. I'm a little rusty. So I don't have one set up for. Okay, so I'll put. I think we might be able to run 2. Let's see what we can do. Pulse burst mining. Okay. And here we got our 5E cargo rack. Let's see. All right. Fuel. So here we got our Olympic controllers. Here's our refinery. So if we go to the 3A refinery, which has 8 bins, which means you can have 8 different materials in it, versus 3E has 3 bins. And what we can do is we can base it off of cost. Like this one is 2.1 million. This one is a third of that, 714,000 for 7 bins. So 8, 7, 6. Maybe. This is probably 4. Yep, and then 3. So power draw 0.48. Oop. 0.48, 0.41. 0.34, 0.27, 0.2. So I think I'll be alright with 7 bins. And we can also look down here. 2A is 6 bins, so if you went down to a level 2, which we might just end up doing for the sake of cargo. So let's remove that. So we've got a 6, a 5, 3 3s, a 2, and another one for our basic discovery scanner. But since we're going to be using the Explorer to mine, we don't necessarily need to worry about having a discovery scanner. So, that being said, let's see, 5E cargo rack. Okay, so let's go down here and let's see what we can get for limpet controllers. Collector limpet is what we're looking for. So with the 3A, that gives us a maximum of 2 limpets and a range of 1.3 kilometers and a time of 12 minutes. So let's see. Either way, the 3A is still relatively cheap. So we got a 5E cargo rack. If we upgrade that to a 6E, we go from 32 tons with a 5E to 64 with a 6E. So we definitely want that. And we may even be able to get away with, let's see, will allow us to have another cargo rack. So there we've got 96 tons, which is pretty decent for AspX Explorer. So that'll store our limpets when we get started, as well as our supplies when we're done. Let's see, 6E, 5E. So cargo rack, And see if we can put a shield generator in here. I'd like to have something there for a shield generator. Did I miss it? Shield cell bank? No. Oh, here we go. We'll see if that works. Okay, so we're still good up here as far as the amount of power that we have. For example, if we go to a 3D power plant, it will turn red on us like this. So, okay, so we got, so there's that. Let's look at a level 2 limpet controller. We can only do to a 1A. So there's 1A, and then the jumps to a 3. So just for example, the 1A has the same amount of time that they last, except you can only have one at a time, and the range is a little bit shorter. So you can't really fly off and go to other things with that. So we definitely want, however, let's see, what did we, sorry, I'm a little forgetful at the moment. 2A refinery. There's 6 bins, which is still pretty decent. So we only need one of those. So what we can do is run 2 3A limpet controllers, and that'll give us a total of 4 limpets collecting at a time. And you'll see eventually why this is beneficial. We've got the 2 mining lasers. And let's see. So the range is 0.5 kilometers in these mining lasers, so you got to be fairly close. It's just something to keep in mind. And in the utility, let's see, we'll put a chaff launcher and a OI point defense. And that'll be our defensive. We're not going to put other munitions on it. It's basically going to be an oh crap, we're being attacked, let's run. And we can fire off chaff, and the point defense will help with incoming missiles. So that'll kind of give us a little bit of time to get away if needs be. So I think we're good here. We've got cargo rack. Let's see, 96 tons is pretty good for this this level. Let's move on. So lightweight alloy, we'll leave that alone. I'd like to go with the better power plant that's got the most power generation. As you can see, 20.4, and then it just it grades down. The 4A is only 15, so on and so forth. So that's something to keep in mind. And the reason that I like having more power generation, so this is a 4.3 million credit power plant. And the more power you have, the better it can keep your weapons supplied, which in this case is our mining lasers. So let's see. And it kind of all depends on how much we want to spend on it. As far as most of this, we're not concerned about it right now. Once we get into, and you can see right now our jump range is crap, so we'd want a 5A, which is another 5.1 million credits. I usually do that just for the sake of, well, look what it does to the jump range. Takes you up to 28 unladen. And then your total unladen or laden basically that means that you're full. So if I didn't know that, now you do. But this is beneficial. So if you go down to the D's on most of the things, like we don't necessarily, the only reason I want the 5A power plant is for the weapons, and the power distributor also helps. Like your weapons get 22 megajoules with the 4E, but if you go to a 4A, then they get 32, so on and so forth. So it increases. See, 30, 27, but this as, let's see. So this one is 443,000 credits. And then the rest we can pretty much set to de-kitted, so you get better range and less weight. Because if we look, here, let's just go back to the 5E. So that mass is 20 tons. This one's 8. That one doesn't show for whatever reason. 32 tons. And I'm not sure. So either way, if you look at just the max laden, or the max jump range, not the laden jump range, the max jump range is 21.4, or 31.44, sorry. It's gonna be a pain in the neck. So let's just watch up here. So we'll look at this unladen. So 28.59 with a 5A. So went down a little bit, went back up, 28.59 with an E. If we go to the D though, we go to 29.4, and an E is back down again. So if we go with the D setup, and you'll notice as I select these, so we want the 4A on this one for the power to be able to mine faster. Otherwise you have to stop and wait for it to recharge before you can continue mining. So there's 24. And the reason I'm not going down to the other, like if we go down to a 4D, that'd get us even more. Like you can see 30.7 to 31.04. I still want to be able to have some decent maneuverability. So that's the reason for that. So we got everything 4D with the exception of the power plant and the power distributor. Fuel tank, we got our cargo, limpet controllers, refinery, basic discovery scanner. We still have our defensive elements, and then our mining lasers. So that's the basic setup. And if you go down here, you can look at the cost of the retrofit costs. So if we go here to just costs, we're looking at 18 million, and that's with the cost of the Asp Explorer. But the retrofit costs, basically what that does is it uses the base setup as what your it uses that as a reference. So for example, it went from 4E to 4D life support, and we're only going to pay 17,000 for that, even though if we look here, the cost on this is 11.3, whereas the 4D is 28. So it came with a 4E on it. So the difference is only 17,000. But with all this added up, when we're adding these and we're swapping out our 4E for a 4D, so on and so forth, it figures out the cost there. For example, just a 5A frameshift drive, let's look, is 5.1 million credits. But since it's had a 5E on it, it's only 5.04 because the 5E is cheap and the 5A is expensive. So we're looking at a 12 million credit difference by the time we're done. But we can use this as a reference, and let's see, we'll set this up. So we'll put a name in here. Let's call it AspX Slim Vid Build. And then we'll hit save, and we'll be able to use that as a reference. So we currently have, let's take a look, 3.5 million credits remaining. And we want to stay above that rebuy cost down there. So as we buy equipment, the rebuy cost will go up, and the obviously our credit balance will, will go down. So let's go into outfitting. So we don't necessarily need to, so the expensive things, the 5A frameshift drive, we can probably do with a, so it came with a 5E, which is still not bad. I mean, it's not awful, it's, I would call that bad, but, so we can do without that. And we don't necessarily have to have a 5A. So let's get the equipment that we can on it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this off the screen, and then I'm going to use it as a reference to set up my build. So hard points. Let's see. We got 2 pulse lasers. Let's see if we can get those. That must be the small slot. So we want to put it in here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sell these. And then we'll come down here. And you can't buy back sold items for, I think it's a certain amount of time. Okay, so this is, okay, so the crosshairs is fixed, and the 2D, the more expensive one with the turret, is for multi-crew, so that they can actually point, basically the main captain or pilot or whatever you want to call them flies the ship, and then multi-crew will do the mining and point the lasers and so forth. But I'm running solo, so we're going to go with the fixed. $19,000 credits, not too bad. I'll do the same on the other one. So if you watch the insurance cost, we're at $284,834. So that's all we're doing in here. Utility mounts. See, we got the top center. Let's see, that's left rear, right rear, I believe. Right rear, left rear, and then the bottom and the back. So the bottom and the back is where I want to have the point defense. And then top center is where I am going to put our chaff launcher. Alright, so we've got those. So let's come back to the core internal. So ideally you want to have at least twice what your insurance cost is. And the reason for that is if you get shot down and destroyed, you can buy your ship back and then still leave with that ship and still have the insurance to cover that ship. Whereas if you only have it enough to cover it one time, as soon as you get shot down and you pay for your replacement ship, then you're not going to have it. And if you get shot down again while you're trying to build credits, then you're going to be SOL, which kind of sucks. So, okay, optional internal. Let's see it here what we can. So we have a 5E cargo rack. So what we're going to do is, so we're going to put a 3A shield generator on this thing. Let's start from the bottom. This one you can't really change. The basic discovery scanner we left on there. I like to have it just in case I need to find various points in systems. At least it allows me to scan the area. So 1A cargo rack. This is going to be our 2A refinery. And we didn't have any 1A cargo racks on there, so let's see if these guys have what we're looking for. We're looking for a 2A refinery. Ah, they do have one. Excellent. So we'll throw that on there. And we're going to exchange that cargo rack. All right, and these two threes were collector Olympic controllers. So fuel transfer, hatch breaker. Do they not have collector? Oh, and then there's prospecting limpets. Shoot, I forgot about prospecting limpets. All right. We may just have to make this a dumb setup where we don't have our discovery scanner. But I don't see... Oh, there they are. Hello. So we're looking for a 3A collection Olympic controller. They do not have one here. So that one will be on hold for now. And the difference is the 3B... Whoop. Goof there a little bit. See 1.5. Still have 2, but let's see, 420 seconds, which is about a minute and can't be right. Hang on. Doing math in my head here. So, divided by 60. That can't be right. Ah, yes. So it's 7 minutes, I think. Yeah. Wow, I cannot believe I completely missed that. How many times is 6 going to 42, genius? So that's a 7-minute lifetime. And 7 minutes versus the 12 that we had before. And then, see, our target range was 1.3. This is actually a little more range. But you're sacrificing range for time. And it's nice to be able to carry less limpets, in my opinion. Because they last 12 minutes instead of 7 minutes. So we'll see if we can find the 3 A's. And those are 86,000 is what it looks like, so they're more pricey, but more worth it in my opinion. So we'll hold off on those. So let's see, we got refinery, limpet. And this one was our shield generator. So what we're going to do is we're going to sell the 5. And the reason for that, that I did it in this order, you'll see in a second. Then we're going to browse the shop for a 3A shield generator. You know, I did that in the wrong order. Luckily, they have a 3A shield generator, so I don't have to worry about that. So we're already up to 326,000 credits on this one. So let's do that. Get rid of that old storage. And then, let's see. Oop. This 5 slot, we're going to move this cargo rack down. So transfer, we're going to swap and put it in the 5 slot. So that moved that down, and now we can buy a 6 level cargo rack. Alright, so now we got 96 tons of cargo capacity. And then we got our shield generator, so on and so forth, yada 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 yada. And we're down to 1.9 million. And right now, our jump range is 13.5 light years per jump, max. So, now we got that done, let's go to the core internal. So we're going to upgrade our power plant to a 5A eventually. And we're going to upgrade our power distributor to a 4A. And then our FSD will become a 5A, hopefully. So for now, so weapons recharge on the 4E is 2.3. Let's see if we can't get. They do have a 4A in here. So, if we look, our 4E has a weapons recharge of 2.3 milljoules. So we go from 2.3 to 3.5 with a 4A. And it also increases our weapons capacity from 32 megawatts from 22. If we get us another 10, like another third. So we'll pick that up. Alright, so we got our power distributor. And I think the power plant was fairly expensive. They may not even have it here. Oh, they do. It's a pricey one though. So, not gonna get that just yet. As you see, if you look down here on the bottom, like with retracted, and then we deploy our mining lasers, that jumps us up to here, and our max is 13.6 megawatts. So, if we did go to this 5A, then that puts us way down here and our max goes way up. And granted, our jump range comes up with it. But that's another thing to keep in mind. See, there we're over our charge capacity if we went to that tier. So if you watch this if you watch this line as I go through them, so this is our max output. We need that to at least cover our deployed systems. So until we get down to a 4D, that will cover all of our systems. So we might be able to get away with 4D. Five E's got extra. 3B won't work. 4C's extra. 2A, 3A. So let's do the rest first. We do still have to get back to our home station. I don't have 5D thrusters in here. That's some shit. Alright, we gotta do that too. Alright, 5E FSD. Don't have a 4D life support either. These guys, I tell you. 5D sensors, they've at least got that. We're gonna exchange. 5C fuel tank, nothing we can do about that. Okay. Got our power distributor. No 4D life support. So we've got to do thrusters, life support, FSD potentially. See, that'll just up to just short of 30. I look at jump range as the key to this whole game because I don't like making a whole bunch of jumps if I don't have to. So a 5D will get us up to 16.4. So 29.79. $14, $19, $7, $11, $8, $16, $7. So for 160,000 credits, we can go from 13.89 to 16. I think that's fairly worth it. So we'll run with our 5D for the moment. Let's make sure that 5A. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we gotta do. Let's see. Power plant, I think we needed. Oh no, we were checking on the other stuff, so I think we can get away with a 5D power plant. which will, as you can see, will help our jump range 16.7 up to 17. So I think we can get away with a 5D power plant for now. Which will more than cover what we need. And it is the most lightweight, so that it'll help our jump range, laden and unladen. Okay, and then we'll have to check out thrusters and what was it? Life support. So hopefully they got those at yeah, that home station of ours. So okay, lets you know you've got fire group to set. So let's go over here. Fire groups. Then we've got a basic discovery scanner, which we'll put on number 2 on our second set. Actually, let's put that on the first set. And then our chaff launcher. Actually, let's put that on 1, and discovery scanner on 2, and then we'll put the mining lasers over here on 1. And then once we get limpet controllers, we'll put those on here also, and those will be number 2, so that we can release. Oh, we're gonna do. Shoot. Basic discovery scanner, which I forgot. We're going to swap that out for a prospector. So the reason I think I'll be able to live without the basic discovery scanner is because this will probably be going to the same system every time, so I'll already have it discovered. And it'll be going to the same planetary body, so to speak. So let's see. Prospecting limits. Relatively cheap. And what we're looking for is lifetime. See, that one's 10 minutes. I'm not seeing the worthwhile change. Oh, the power draw is better in that one? Oh, these have got better integrity. The controller does anyway. But so we're just gonna go with a 1D. Let's store the. Actually, we've already got one in storage, so we'll get rid of the old one. There we go. Go back to our fire groups. So now we've got the prospector limpet controller. Instead, we don't want that on that set. So that the prospector. So we won't be mining and launching the prospector limpet drones at the same time. So we want to have the collector limpet controllers on with the same channel as the mining lasers, so that we can automatically replenish them when they expire. So we're gonna have. We'll set this up over here, I think. Let's set that as 2. Alright. So, I think we're ready to head back. Oh, we don't have a fuel scoop either. Which usually isn't an issue, but it's when we're using it as a mining ship. Okay, let's see if we can make it back there. Alright, we can make it back with 1 tank. Excellent. How many jumps? 7. That's not bad at all. Put 4 pips into our engines.
Landing gear retracted.
Ship released. Access corridor is clear.
Reduce your speed inside.
Oh, I forgot how agile these things are. Where you going, dude? Hello. Woo-wee. Well, let's go.
Frameshift drive charging.
Gotta love how fast that engine recharges. And we're doing,
You are clear of the station. FFC out.
looks like about 300. Without the boosters, it might be, yeah. Might be closer to 250. But we were upwards of 340, so I look at that as a win.
Frameshift drive charging.
So, having 96 tons on this thing, we can also use it as a cargo ship in a pinch. Granted, it doesn't have a lot of hold your ground defenses, but we do have defensive countermeasures, so that is a benefit.
Frameshift drive charging.
And I'll show you once we get back to our home station a couple ways to find those components we're missing.
3, 2, 1.
Actually, I can show you here right now. So once we jump out, I'll get past the sun, cut throttle, and then I'll give you a peek on how to find those.
Warning. Temperature critical.
I'm on it. So, get to where we start cooling off. Okay, so let's pull that back over here. So here's our build. What I'm going to do is open a new tab. and you can go to Rogue ED locations. There's the link for it. And we're looking for equipment. I believe what we're looking for is utility. Because what we're looking for first is these collector Olympic controllers. Oh, those might be internal. Here we go. Collector Olympic controller. And the one we're looking for is the 3A. So 3A, and then you click where to buy. And then you can go 20 light years, and we'll put our system in there, which is... I really hope I spelled that correctly. Let's double check. Coco Gina. Actually, better yet, let's use the system we're in. Whoop. Forgot that it still moves when you're doing that. So, we're currently in the Fomal Hot. Fomal Hot. And let's check 50. And we can land on small pads, I believe, with this. Or medium pads, at least. I think it might be medium. Outpost stations, planetary. Let's exclude planetary. And go. So, this station has 3A. Let's check... so there's one in-system that has them. Verified 2 days ago. Let's check, let's check Kokajina, see if they have them there. Kokajina has them at Alley Ring 4 hours ago, so all we gotta do is go home and we can get those. Okay, and then let's check our, I believe it was, thrusters and life support. 5D and 4D thrusters and life support. So back to equipment, subsystem. Thrusters, and we're looking for 5D. Where to buy? And let's just go. Alley Ring has those as well. And let's check the life support. This one we're looking for 4D. Go. Alley Ring has those as well, so all we gotta do is get home. Awesome.
Frameshift drive charging.
Doesn't hurt to check them when, because if it was closer to where we left than where we're the home station we're going to, then I'd hate to have to come back. So it's just easier to verify that they're all supposedly there. So what I'm doing is, see the dot in the center of the screen there? I'm getting that outside of this ring. I'm sure I covered that before, but ooh, I got really close on that one. Usually if you cross over into that, you'll overheat and instantly it'll drop you right out of Super Cruise. And then potentially you could be overheating without the ability to run away at a fast rate. Because as soon as you try to charge your FSD, it'll produce more heat.
4, 3, 2, 1.
more jumps we've got. 2 more.
Frameshift drive charging.
Ah, see, without our basic discovery, it doesn't show anything on our radar down there. I'm just noticing that. That might be a problem.
4, 3, 2, 1.
It might cause issue with if we get attacked. I wonder if it'll actually show them popping into the area or the system or whatever you want to call it.
Frameshift drive charging.
Let's see. Let's be on the bottom, which is just fine. So I'm worried about the if an NPC pops in and says, "Hey, give me your stuff." Oh, it does show planets on this one. That's weird. Oh, I see why. Because we've already done a scan, so the system already has the data for this particular system. So that means it should show other spacecraft in the area. So I think we should be all right there. Little false alarm. Sorry. So we'll get there, we'll see if we can finish getting us equipped. And then I believe we'll wrap it up from there. Oh. Where is that blast ended slot? Oh, it's right there. Wake up. Oh, no, it's not. The way those rivets looked on the dash, I thought that was it. Come on. Alright. What the heck? Oh, I know I looked there. That's some bubkus. Must have just rotated funny on me. Yes, I'm aware I'm pointed at a planet. Yeah, I'll have to do a little bit of flying around. Oh well. This is the nice thing about the AspX Explorer. Look at all this view. Oh, nose up. Let's get some maneuverability. Got a little bit of drifting. There we go. So, 255 is our base speed, which is pretty darn good.
Touchdown.
3, there it is. even though we've got this thing de-kitted, as they say. Oh, I need to upgrade those thrusters. Even though it's de-kitted, it does handle fairly well.
Docking confirmed. Power down your engines.
Alright, let's get the outfitting. And see if we can't get this thing rounded out and finish up our configuration. Now you can also use you can look for discounts on the various equipment, but to me that's I don't know, it's a little bit too far. So alright, core internal. Let's see. 5D, yes. Alright. 5D thrusters. And 17.32. We get a more than a half a light year jump increase on it, so that's awesome. That's taken care of. 4D life support. That puts us up over 18. Alright, optional internal. We want collection lipids. 3A, sweet. I thought that said, let's have a peek. "12 minutes. Okay, yep. Awesome. So 720 seconds. See, and then as soon as we drop to the B, we lose limpet lifetime. 3C gets more lifetime, but target range is much less. Alright. And with that, I believe we're most of the way complete on this config. The only thing that I want to change is a 5A FSD. That'll put us up to 30.9 light years. So, we'll have to work on building some credits for that. Alright. Now, as before, we have to go into our fire groups, and we're going to set these collector limpet controllers to number 2 on the same one as the mining lasers. So, and one thing you can do is you can come in here and you can set, you can change your configuration. For example, if you're only doing passenger missions, you can save yourself a little bit of power in here. So you can see down in the bottom it says usage is 85%. And watch me prove myself wrong. Where's the... Ah, here we go. Modules. So if we take this and disable our cargo hatch, notice the usage down there dropped to 81%. we turn it back on, 85%. So if all you're running is passengers, you can disable that and save yourself some effort, and potentially use a lower power supply. So FSD chaff points, cargo rack, data link scanner, so on and so forth. So one last thing that I want to do is, let's see if we can find let's look at the system map first. So this is a gas giant, which is usually a good thing. Let's see what kind of rings it has. Let's see, those are systems. Here we go. Nope. There we go. That's what we want to see. So there's a 2A and a 2B. The internal ring is the A, and then the B is the external ring. You can tell because the inner radius of this one, or excuse me, the outer radius of this one is marginally slightly smaller than the inner radius of this one. So if you use a little bit of intuition and know-how, so the metal rich is what we're looking for, because we want to collect what is called our 3 Ps, which is, oh, I might be a little rusty on this, palladium, platinum, and painite. And occasionally I'll throw some gold in there, things like that. But so all we have to do is go to this planet in our already existing system, and we can go in there and go mining, which we will do next time on the next episode. So we got that covered, and there was something else that I was gonna look at. Ah, yes, I remember now. So let's look at the commodities market here. So with those 3 that I just mentioned, well, 4 if you count gold. So here's our metals. So platinum we'll get a lot more for right now, because if we manage to get platinum there, the galactic average price is 19,756. So that's the average that you get across the galaxy. The demand, they want 7,700 of the tons of it, and they will give you 42,000 for each one. So platinum is a huge benefit in this system. Palladium is marginally better. They have a higher demand for it. Galactic average is 13,244, and they will give us 14. So it's a little bit better than the average, which I'll still take that. So if we go down, where is... Did they get rid of painite? Oh wait, that's not a metal. That's a mineral. Oh. They're gonna rip you off with painite though. So painite, galactic average is 40k. They demand 1,500 of it, and they'll give you 33.7 for it. So you're gonna lose money on that. Well, not lose money, because everything that you collect you're getting for the price of limpets. So, that being said, in order to pick up limpets, you will need them for your... So think of limpets as universal bullets for a gun. So you pick up limpets, and they can... The same ones that you buy can be used for the Prospector limpet controller, as well as collection limpets, fuel, refueling limpets, things like that. And to get those, you go down here to Advanced Maintenance, and then you go to Restock. And here shows your cargo, and each limpet is 101 credits. So dirt cheap compared to what you're gonna get out of it. And I usually go with about 75% of my cargo. It all depends on what kind of limpets you're what kind of limpets you're using, how long they last, as well as how big your cargo capacity is, things like that. Because if you have a smaller cargo capacity, you're not going to need a lot of limpets, because it's going to fill up relatively quickly with these various metals and minerals and things like that. So I will tell you what, we'll load this up for the next episode, and let's take 75. And if you do have to throw or jettison some of them, you're only throwing away, I mean, even if we threw the whole bunch away, we'd be getting rid of 7,500 credits, which is chump change compared to we can run one mission and get 300,000. So we'll add that. That way we're ready for next time. And one thing that I'm not sure if I mentioned it in an earlier episode. So let's back out of here first. So when you land, say you've been in a battle and you survive, you get back to a station and you refuel, repair, restock your munitions. But this repair does not cover your structural integrity. Think of this like doing body repair work. Only it doesn't do the frame or the suspension or any of that kind of stuff. So you go periodically check in here, because the ship integrity will drop, and the more it drops, the more expensive it gets. I'm not sure if it's exponential, but it's something to keep an eye on, because you'll quickly get a high number up there. And then you can also repair your paint work. So just keep that in mind. And I think that'll wrap it up for episode 11. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you followed the stream, then I hope that was beneficial as well. And I want to remind you to follow if you're watching on Twitch, and if you're watching on YouTube, I would appreciate if you'd subscribe and click the notification icon so you get notified. And don't forget to like and share. And hope you all have a good evening, and, well, unless it's morning. But either way, y'all take care, and we will see you next time.